Alright, so this week is going to be basically introductions and introductions of introductions. So I'm going to first introduce you to how the web works, okay? And then this entire series is going to be activity focused, right? So the goal is you're going to make something at the end of a short period of time. So I'm going to show you what to expect, okay? And then we'll talk about structure, right? So I'm going to make sure we cover these points and then move on to other things as we progress. Alright, so how does the web work? A bunch of us are pretty familiar with the internet, right? And sometimes we hear things like the cloud, you input a domain name www.something on your web browser and you expect to get a site. But how does that really work? Take for instance, you were to input google.com in your web browser, right? Now, you would be what we call the client, which is represented by this image right here. And you'll be using your web browser. You're going to make a request for a particular web page from the internet, okay? Or on the internet, as the case might be. Now, this web page will be identified by the link, the URL, which in the case is www.google.com or facebook.com, whatever the case might be. While this request goes on the internet, it locates a server which is mapped to that address that you typed and requests for the page from that web server, okay? So what the web server does is handle your requests and spit out a response. Alright, this response is basically returned in the format called HTML. So most of the web pages or all of the web pages all over the internet are returned in HTML, right? And HTML is an acronym which means hypertext markup language. No one cares about the meaning anyways, just know it's HTML, right? So this HTML is passed from the server through the internet back to your browser, okay? And your browser renders the HTML. It displays the HTML in a form that you can relate with and interact with, right? But the whole process involves the server generating this output, right? And what you would do as a web developer is to create this HTML, to create this content that will be given back to any web browser or any client that requests for a URL. Is that clear enough? You see another illustration of the same ideology here. You can see that over here we have different categories of clients. You have a desktop computer, you have a PC, the same thing. You have a laptop, you can have a mobile device, right? They will all make requests to or through the internet to a web server, right? Just forget about this database here, ignore it for now. And this web server is going to spit out a response in HTML format, right? So everything you see on the web is powered by HTML. All the colors, all the text, all the images, everything is wrapped up in HTML, alright? So we can say that HTML is like the transport medium. It's like the carrier, you know. Something like that. And you know, basically